All right, sneak peek. Sneak peek of what you're about to realize, and I'm showing you here, is that the information of the proof that I'm going to lay out for you guys, that the Lord has laid out to me, is a whole lot of information. It's a whole lot of scriptures that start all the way from the truth about Adam and Eve, and it blends into the falling angels and then us. Okay? So just letting the ones that have already been with us here on the Matrix know that we are definitely have been putting this together, but we have to deliver it properly and in order, just the way that the Lord Christ Yeshua, to be specific, has revealed to me. Okay? Trust me, I know that this is a lot to take in, but this is scripture, and that's unarguable. I mean, it says what it says, period. But this is all going to tie in together when we're finished. So I wanted to go ahead and deliver at least a little bit while we're just about midway through the collecting of all of what we need for the full delivery. So, if you are new, thank you for joining us here on The Matrix. Please click subscribe if you have not already. If you have, awesome. But this one and the last one are going to be majority all scripture. Just going to say that straight up. Where to me, there's nothing wrong with that at all. That's amazing. Let scripture interpret scripture and let the Lord speak for himself. And God is the Word and the Word is God. So let the Word speak for itself. It was written. Okay? We can't change it. It is the way it is. We're here. Figure it out. And we get to go back home. Okay? Alright, so go ahead and start off with going to Jude 1:7. Alright? But technically Jude 1-7. Sorry. Alright, but we're going to highlight 6 and 7. Alright? And the angels which kept not their first estate, meaning they were one thing and now they're another thing. Okay? So, the angels that kept not their first estate, but left their own habitation, home, household, body, human host body, house, temple, church. It also says that the body is the temple. So, habitation. Alright, so they were one thing and now they're... So, we'll get into it. So, but left their own habitation, he hath reserved in everlasting chains under darkness. these bodies, I'm telling you right now, and we'll break it all down later on, but these bodies that we have, these avatars, these are our everlasting chains. And under darkness is the fact that we're here on the earth. We're not from here. We're not of this world. Scripture quote. Okay? So, we're here in our everlasting chains, in our flesh bodies avatar, whatever. Everlasting chains. And then under darkness, here on earth. And then it says, unto the judgment of the great day. So that's also how you know even more so that we're here on earth, we're under darkness, so we're in our bodies, everlasting chains, under darkness here on earth, and we are going to be here on earth until the day of judgment. Okay, that's how you know that I was talking about all of what I just broke down. Okay, so left the habitation because we're from heaven. We're not of this world. So left their own habitation. Angels that kept not their first estate. What was our first estate? There's also another scripture that we'll go through later on in the bigger video that talks about before, and we might cover it, before you were in your mother's womb, I knew you, meaning past tense. So where were we at before? Is what you gotta ask yourself right there. And then the angels that kept not their first estate, like a place of estate, like a building, a house, okay? Yeah, we left our own habitation. Yep. And then, again, to rub it in even more, because God always backs up scripture with scripture with scripture, and it just drives with truth. Okay? So down on into verse 7, it says, even as Sodom and Gomorrah and the cities about them in like manner, given themselves, first off, even like Sodom, they were like Sodom and these angels that fell, they were like Sodom and Gomorrah, and the likeness of manner. This means that they walked amongst the rest of the people in the city, the ways of the world. They blended in. They had a like manner. They were like the world. Okay? And we'll break that down on eSword later to prove all of what I'm saying. Giving themselves over to fornication. There's a big nugget right there of proof that is straight up, fornication, sex, intimacy, bloodline takeover, fallen angels. That's what it is. You'll find out soon enough. And then it goes on to even say, and going after strange flesh. What was that strange flesh? Fallen angels. Yeah. Also, the fallen angels that it speaks of that took wives of their choosing in Genesis 6. And I believe that is right there on eSword, and we will cover that momentarily. But, see, unto strange flesh, for set forth an example, surfing the vengeance of Eternal fire. Wow. Okay. So, basically, we are the angels that fell and left their first estate, because before you were in your mother's womb, I knew you. Past tense, meaning we're from heaven, we're not. Also, again, scripture, we're not of this world. So, but left their own habitation. We left our home and we were put here. Yes, to avoid breaching. We were born upside down, but also in the Acts of Peter, it talks about how we were born upside down and how that connects to the falling angels. We are those. Also, and we'll prove that later on, the word womb, before you were in your mother's womb, I knew you. Click on the word womb, and the Hebrew definition is matrix. Okay? Matter of fact, hang on just a moment. Alright, so we'll cover this briefly, and then we'll get to the main bottom line. So there were giants in the earth in those days, and also after that, when the sons of God came in unto the daughters of man, and bare children unto them. That's how you know I wasn't just emphasizing that line for no reason at all. Because came in, they're saying that for a reason. Sexual. Came into, they bore children unto them, and they were the children of old men of renown. Alright? Their bloodline is here. That's where we come from. If you want to know where you come from, well, this is it. Alright? And then Jeremiah 1:5. Before I formed thee in the belly, I knew, past tense, I knew thee, meaning you. I knew thee. And before, go ahead and highlight that. And before thou comest forth out of the womb. Alright, so here we go. Womb, number 7358, Hebrews, Strong Concordance. Womb, compare, right there, matrix. I can't zoom in. Matrix. That's what that says right there. Alright, so womb means matrix. He knew us before we were in the womb. Entered the matrix. Welcome to the matrix. We are all the fallen angels. We will continue to prove that out. Alright, so this is for those that don't already know what Genesis 6 says. And it came to pass, when man began to multiply on the face of the earth, and daughters were born unto them. The sons of God saw the daughters of man, that they were fair, meaning attractive, and they took them wives of all which they chose. The book of Enoch speaks of this same event and says that they took them by force, meaning rape. They came, took over, inbreed, half human, half fallen angel. V and V, W, what have I been telling you? A W, get it? Yeah. So, we are the fallen. They did that. They took wives by their choosing. And the Lord said, My spirit shall not always strive with man, for that he also is flesh. Yet his days shall be 120 years. There were giants in the earth in those days, and also after that, when the sons of God came into, put emphasis on that, came into the daughters of man. And here's how you know I'm, again, not reading that wrong. And they bore children unto them. Okay? So we read that a little bit earlier. And, just a moment. And then, wow, hang on, what? That's very weird. Alright, here we go. And we got one more scripture, and then we're gonna cliffhanger it right after that. Alright, so, this one kind of links into the Adam and Eve deal, where Eve basically had an affair with the devil when the third fell, when the angels fell, the third of the angels. And it says, such is the way of an adulterous woman. She eateth and wipeth her mouth, and saith, I have done no wickedness. Oral sex, and then told the Lord that she didn't do anything bad. Blasphemy, but that's what it says. She wipeth with her mouth and said, I did nothing. Alright, so from there we will go to Genesis 4:1. And Adam knew his wife Eve, or Hava, in Hebrew, Hava, right there. Hava, okay. Adam knew his wife Eve, Hava, Adam knew Eve, Hava, his wife. Adulteress. An adulterous woman. A woman, an adulteress. Female. X, many. By the way, that's also talking about female. X chromosome. Y is the male chromosome. That's why when God, Christ Yeshua, was on the cross, and then he dropped down like that, it makes a Y. He was that sacrifice. And then, talking about that, that's the female chromosome. Is the Y and the X and the Y. That's the male and the female, is the Y and the X. Or X and Y, whichever. So the main thing here is adulteress. See how we tied those two together? Alright. So, stay tuned. We have a whole big load of all of this to prove. Okay? So stay tuned. Real quick, I want to prove this out a little bit. I'm not going to do too much of all of this breaking down, but we'll end it with this one. Click on Abel. Because a lot of people are like, they say that Adam and Eve, or that Adam and Eve had Cain and Abel. A lot of Christians say that. Wrong. Click on Abel. First off, Cain came from the devil. And we'll prove that out later on too. But we're not going to give out too much right now. Click on Abel, but this is a small proof again. So click on Abel, and it says, son of Adam. So correct on that. Abel did come from Adam. But Cain, by the way, Cain, Abel, cannibal. Okay. So, here, it doesn't say son of Adam at all. It says Cain, the name of the first child, also a place in Palestine. Spear, I've tried to prove that out last time. Spear, they use that a lot in the deal. Spears, anything with spears. And then you have to strike a music note. Lucifer is known as the choir director of heaven before he fell. Okay, so to strike a music note. Abel is the son of Adam. Cain a place in Palestine. Spear, root, wrong one, there we go. Spear has striking fast, to strike a music, to strike a musical note, right there. Alright, so hang on just a moment. John 3:12. Here's where Cain came from. Not as Cain, who was of that wicked one, and slew his brother. And wherefore slew he him. Okay, so overall, not like Cain, who was of that wicked one. Who was the wicked one? Oh, the serpent, the dragon, the lotus, that wicked one. Okay? So, we are the fallen. They fell. They had sex with the women and the men. They took over. Their bloodline is here. We will prove it further and further on the full video with all of it together in one. Alright? So, stay tuned. Be blessed. Drop your comments. And again, if you haven't already, click subscribe. See you soon. Own the Matrix.